I'm continuing the Policing for Freedom series, and I'm talking about Police for Freedom and their associations. They're an international movement that started in February 2021, and they were inspired by this Spanish association supposedly that formed in 2020. I'll let you guys read about the ethics for yourselves. Here are some countries that Police for Freedom spans across, like Australia, Canada, all over Europe, as well as the US. So I'm gonna move up here and point your eyes on this particular gentleman, Vincent Gerses. He was with the OPP, so he is part of this particular initiative. Liberty Coalition Canada has two different initiatives that they put out. Liberty Coalition Canada is affiliated with the whole freedom movement, if you will. And this is the Professionals Against Lockdown Caucus. And if we scroll through the list, we might end up finding people we know, but I'll let you guys do that. And this, as well as a different caucus, the End the Lockdown Caucus. And we have Randy Hillier, Maxime Bernier, Derek Sloan, and Dave Bilsma, Dave Sharp, which are some Niagara known people. So you'll find someone you know if you probably go through that list. And here are organizations that Police for Freedom affiliates with. Thick Red Line we'll get to. But first I want to say in part 1, I talked about Police on Guard for Thee. The next part will be Mounties for Freedom. And I haven't looked into that organization yet. So I get a real social justice warrior vibe looking at this website right now. I'm just going to talk about the symbolism of kneeling, and links will be in the description so you can look at the information yourself. But we see Freemasons doing this around their Messiah figure, Hiram Abiff, and then we also see the military doing so, as well as sports teams. But people don't necessarily do certain symbols and rituals regularly without even understanding the true meaning of things, and people are sometimes left in the dark. And I also just want to say that symbols are not necessarily evil or good per se. It's how they're used in the intentions. And essentially here, Tracy Twyman, who is knowledgeable about a lot of esoteric content and that sort of a thing, her description of kneeling: symbolism of kneeling runs deeper than this Masonic ritual. Genuflection is ultimately a sign of sexual submission made into a societal custom. It was first practiced by human tribes conquered in war to obtain mercy from the victors. Then it was made a general sign of quote-unquote respect from slaves to their owners. So we also see this sort of a thing with the military-industrial complex, right? How one person is always left in the dark and just sort of blindly following orders. Someone's always left in the dark with these cults, and that's not what this should be about. Occult is just simply a word that means hidden. So these are the people in Thick Red Line. Over here, Dave Austin is a city councilor in Vermont, but I'm going to be talking about this gentleman over here, and I'm just going to be referring to him as Howie. He's the founder of Thick Red Line Project, president of Human Productivity Lab, which is a consultancy that helps world-class distributed organizations learn and collaborate at the speed of light. Remember that. He has worked at one of the big 4 think tanks in Washington, D.C. I don't know what the big 4 think tanks are, but I know that that sounds ominous. And he's worked on Wall Street. So kill me now, and has been an he's been an operating executive and board member of a number of technology companies in networking, telepresence, and visual collaboration. That's a little bit vague, but I'll hopefully give some clarity to you. This is Human Productivity Lab's website over here, and I'll show you how they describe themselves. HPL is unique in bringing together the psychology of how individuals learn with the economics of how organizations create value to design and deploy technology solutions that improve both. Okay, well, here are some of the organizations that they have ties to. We're going to get to Array Telepresence, which I just passed eventually, but I'm still talking about Human Productivity Lab. And here, we help organizations develop the strategies and choose the right technologies to improve their ability to collaborate internally and externally with partners, vendors, and clients at the speed of light. It's interesting to see that one repeated. I just noticed that before I started filming, actually, and thought it was noteworthy. We help with technology research, due diligence, ROI modeling, don't know what that is, future-proofing investments, meeting room technologies and templates, and financially modeling tech investments. We borrow Agile's best practices of sprint planning sessions, regular but not necessarily daily stand-ups, and big visible charts, and we help IT organizations visually organize projects, documents, room templates, and assets. So it sounds like they're like a data management team for big tech and other corporations, and find ways of presenting information in a more clear and concise manner, essentially, and they help other organizations collaborate with one another. Basically, they're globalists and scum of the earth, if you want me to put it lightly, right? And here we have Howie again, and I just want to say that he is the founder and publisher of Telepresence Options, which is a boutique publishing company. We're going to end up talking about Array Telepresence, but first I just want to say that he's been a frequent commentator on next-gen technologies, and he has spoken on different forums such as Forbes, U.S. News and World Report, Technology Magazine, etc., etc. This is Array Telepresence. What they are is basically another visual collaboration company, basically a synonym of what we just saw. So this guy is basically connecting big tech and helping people present their information more thoroughly, I guess. An information consolidating type of guy. All in all, this whole thing just sounds pretty shady to me, and the police work for the crown, and they're not technically on our side and never have been, as the world is basically ran by service corporations, and Canada itself is a corporation. And if anybody has anything they want to add, please do, because I didn't even talk about the symbolism of the organization Police for Freedom yet. But we can go there another time.